Hi students, and welcome again to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. I hope everybody is having an awesome weekend. Welcome Route Tour. Hi Anna, hi Fuang, hi Veer, hi Fatima, and God is watching. Nice to see many of you already here with me. This is an IELTS speaking part 3 class, the last and most challenging part of the IELTS speaking. It takes about 5-6 minutes to do this in the real world and your actual IELTS exam, and we will spend about 60 to 90 minutes in this class talking about this and practicing this, everybody. Again, this lesson is brought to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS success. Visit us there. For the general IELTS, visit us at gieltshelp.com. These are the websites that power these live classes. They contain all of our materials. The academic IELTS website looks like this with the blue background. Click the big red button above my head to join the premium package. We're an IDP affiliate, British Council partner, and IELTS test registration center. We have been helping thousands of students. We were the first to put IELTS videos on YouTube, and we are here to help you get the best score possible. This is the general IELTS website here with the green background. Again, just click that big red button and you're good to go. All right, students, today we will be doing lots of Zoom interactions as well with our students. Back to the class here. Let me just pin the chat so I can see what everybody is talking about. There we go. Single and Savvy says, we are back again. Indeed we are. Everybody, I am looking at the chat throughout the class. I have it pinned to my screen here, so I am looking at your questions and your comments to give you answers. Okay. You are very welcome, Rashmi. Students, premium classes, the Zoom links are out. If you are a premium member at aehelp.com or gieltshelp.com, you should have received those Zoom links already. If you don't see them, send me an email. The apps for our websites are Academic IELTS Help, General IELTS Help for your mobile phones. And if you have questions, send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com, admin@aehelp.com. Instagram, IELTS_AEHelp, GIELTS Help. The more places you follow us, the more connected the information. So it's a good idea. Subscribe to this YouTube channel and get lots of notifications. And then when you're done your IELTS exam, you can delete all of the notifications and apps and forget about us for eternity. I'm going to cry. No, but you can keep using the apps forever and the website forever and keep learning English as long as you need to. We're always adding new content. Okay, right now speaking part 3, everybody. And tomorrow it's speaking on Zoom for premium users. A new schedule coming July 2nd. All right. And we'll kick off the week on Tuesday with reading. Okay, members, you can request reading passages for that class from your premium membership. Also, the Zoom classes are switching to the 4th and the 5th, Thursdays and Fridays. And I won't be able to do a full 90 minutes, but they will be close. I will be able to do 75 minutes. So going to adjust this slightly so it makes a bit more sense like that. Okay. All right. We're always putting videos. I mean, you should never run out of material. If somebody's like, oh, you know, there's not enough learning material. Students on the website, when you go to your My Student account, in your My Student account, in the lesson videos, we have more than 200 videos for you to learn. We have 125 speaking interview examples with all kinds of topics. So you should always have material to learn from. All right. So you should never be running out of material. Okay. Ayodeji says, not until eternity, but we will reference you. Thank you, Ayodeji. Thank you. All right. Ayodeji, you make me smile. Okay, students, speaking part 3, it's challenging because you have to have a bit more vocabulary. You have to give more detailed answers. You have to make strong connections to part 2. Part 2 was talking about a country that you would consider moving to for work, school, or study. Okay. I spoke about England. Alexander spoke about Canada. Olawunmi spoke about New Zealand. Japan, who was actually a gentleman from Vietnam, spoke about Canada as well. So a country that you would move to for work, school, or to live. Let's say and to live, because it could be all three. Okay. All right. Remember your part 2 for part 3. That's my first tip. Okay. Remember not just what you said, but even your ideas from the planning. Okay. Including your notes and your planning time. The more you make connections, the better it will be. Let me give you an example. So just for the first 1 or 2 questions, repeat after me so I can show you the format, the style of part 3 answers. So the IELTS, everybody, again, it's a progressive exam. So the questions, the expectations get more and more challenging. It means that for part 3, you really have to put your best foot forward. It means speak your best English. Okay, it's not a chit chat. You're not there for an everyday convo, meaning conversation. You are there to mean business. You are there to get a high band score. The examiner wants to know, do you speak English well enough to be a doctor in a hospital, to be a teacher in a classroom, to be a lawyer in a courtroom? That's a band 9. It's not a native speaker. Native speaking has almost nothing to do with the scores. Okay? All right. So I show humor. If your dream country is to move to Somalia, you have to explain why that is. Is it because you love the nature? You love the flora and fauna of Africa? You've always wanted to see beautiful animals, elephants? Is it because you want to help the local populations? You want to build infrastructure? What encourages you to move there? Remember that for part 3. Okay, so why do people migrate to live in different countries? Well, the most commonly mentioned reasons people emigrate to into a country are the mentioned topics of part 2 for work, school, and study. Within these life plans, of course, people seek safety and a higher quality of life. These are the primary reasons I am planning to continue my studies in England from next fall. Okay? So answer, explain, example. All right? And strong connection to part 2. You can mention part 2. Like you can say, as I said in part 2, or as the cue card mentioned in part 2. Absolutely. If I'm your examiner, I would say that's clever. Clearly, that was the goal of that cue card. Okay? So repeat after me. Students, this is speaking. So speak and repeat. And if you see new words, new idioms, new phrases, ask me. Say, what does that mean? How do I use it? Okay, so speak and repeat. Okay. Copy what I say, copy how I say it. All right, here we go, everybody. Why do people migrate to live in different countries? Just repeat me. Repeat the questions. Especially for part 3, you should always practice repeating questions as well as answers. Why do people migrate to live in different countries? Well, the most commonly mentioned reasons people emigrate into a country are the topics of part 2. For work, school, and study. Within these life plans, of course, people seek safety and a higher quality of life. These are the primary reasons I'm planning to continue my studies in English from next, or in England from next fall. Okay, let's make that change. God is watching says economic refugee. Okay, you have to put that into context. All right. MD Nazmul says, how do I generate ideas faster? Think of what you said in part 2. So this is a very good question here. MD Nazmul says, how do I generate ideas faster? And, you know, for part 3, students, when you have this question, like, how do I generate ideas? Well, first of all, you already generated ideas. So use those ideas in part 3 also. That's why that 1-minute preparation time in part 2 is so important. Okay, Nazmul, does that make sense? All right, Single and Savvy has this answer for us. People often migrate seeking improved career prospects, higher quality education, or to join loved ones. As in my case, where I am moving to New Zealand to unite with my fiance. We have been in a long distance relationship for a year, and I miss him dearly. Okay, I would finish that, Single and Savvy. Maybe you ran out of space, but that's how I would finish that. Okay, it's a good answer, Single and Savvy. Veer Pratap, nice to see you in the class, Veer. Veer says, I really want to move to a European country for work because I really want to work with European people because they are really good in nature and give safe and balanced lifestyle. Sure. Again, Veer, remember, this is asking you, why do people migrate to live in different countries? Not about you. So careful in part 3, everybody. You have to be careful not to say I, me, or my right away because it will sound off topic. So here it's asking about people. So people frequently migrate for security and a balanced lifestyle. Okay, and then you can say, I really want to move to a European country for work because I really want to work with Europeans since they are good-natured and provide safety and a balanced lifestyle. Lifestyle is one word, Veer. Okay, so those are the corrections. Pay attention to making sure that you are talking about people in general at first. Okay, Dhruvil, the Zoom link is going to be coming a little bit later. All right. Yes, Single and Savvy. Very good points. Single and Savvy says people should be careful about emigration and immigration. Yeah, you emigrate to a country, you immigrate from a country, everybody. Okay. Right? Or is it the other way around? Do you immigrate to a country and emigrate from a country? What's the difference? Emigrate as in exit the country. And immigrate you enter the country. But let's take a look at that because even I confuse it sometimes. So yeah, means you move away, right? So if you look them up, emigrate. The way to remember this is exit, right? Emigrate. Enter, en. Okay, so you enter a country. Okay, that's the difference between those two words. It's a very good point, and you do have to be careful. It's kind of like remembering the difference between lend and borrow. Okay, so it's the perspective, right? What perspective you're looking at it from. So emigrate, exit. Immigrate, enter. Okay. All right, students, so far so good. Follow-up question. Part 3 is filled with follow-up questions. Why do some people choose seasonal migration? That means why do some people decide to move to another country for a certain season, like in the summer or in the winter? Okay. Murasa has this answer for us. Let's take a look, Murasa. You know what, Murasa? Let's just grab the question first so that it doesn't confuse people, and we'll put it right here. So why do some people choose seasonal migration? It means moving to another country for part of the year. Okay. It's a tricky question. So if you don't understand the question in part 3 in the speaking, it's good to say, do you mean like moving to a country for a season, like summer or winter? And then the examiner will say, yes, that's what I mean. Or they will say yes. Or they will just repeat the question, and then you know that it's correct. Okay? So Murasa says, that's an interesting question. It is an interesting question. You're right, Murasa. So this is well used here. This is a good use of this expression because it's an interesting question. I agree. So that's an interesting question. In my perspective, people frequently choose seasonal travel for enjoyment, as people daily go to the office or university and become tired of the monotonous life. So they decide to spend their summer in a tropical climate on the beach, relaxing and absorbing a new culture. Another reason, as I referred to in part 2, is for school. A lot of international students will spend the school year, usually fall and winter, in a foreign country, but move back to their home country to be with friends and family in the spring and summer. Okay? And yes, the examiner will let you speak this much as long as you are on topic. Okay, so Murasa, you had a good start. It was about a band 7, and then now I changed it to more of a band 9 with a lot more detail and 2 reasons. Okay, everybody with me? So here we go. Again, the question is, why do some people choose seasonal migration? And the answer is, that's an interesting question. In my perspective, people frequently choose seasonal travel for enjoyment. As people daily go to the office or university and become tired of monotonous life, so they decide to spend their summer in a tropical climate on the beach, relaxing and absorbing new culture. Another reason, as I referred to in part 2, is school. A lot of international students spend the school year, usually fall and winter, in a foreign country, but move back to their home countries to be with friends and family in spring and summer. Okay? All right, au pair. Au pair says there are a lot of reasons why people would move to a new country. Some are for school, better work opportunities, and also to reunite with families. Personally, my reason would be to work abroad. Okay, so this is for the previous one. Au pair, that's good. It's a good one for the previous question. All right. Fatime says, I think when a climate is impossible to get accustomed to, people move to a different place to enjoy their lives in a comfortable or in comfortable weather. It can also happen with those who are going to have holidays. I know that many Canadians like to spend their winters in Florida because they cannot bear the minus 30 degrees Celsius of the winter season. Okay, sure, that's good. Quantification and examples. You're on the right track, everybody. I'm seeing lots of great answers. Nicely done. No, the T is not silent, Marasa, and monotonous. It's monotonous. It's the T kind of rolls into the N. It's monotone. It's a little bit silent, monotonous. We don't really say monotonous. We say monotonous. So it's kind of a silent T. Yes, Marasa, you are right. Correction to myself. All right. Students, we have lots of questions here. And again, as I mentioned in the previous class, I would like to give as many of you a chance as possible to chime in and answer some of these questions through Zoom. Now, these Zoom interactions, this is what we do in the premium classes. Premium students get 2 Zoom classes each week. They will be on Thursdays and Fridays. Okay. So it's a great time to join. To join and become a premium student, click the big red button that's above my head. It's a one-time payment. You get lifetime access. For general IELTS, it's gieltshelp.com. Again, click the big red button there. It's a one-time payment, lifetime access, and you're good to go. Let me share the Zoom, and then you get these Zoom links by email to premium users. Premium users, again, I sent you your Zoom links already. There's the link. I just put that in the chat. So check the YouTube chat. Okay. And I'm going to start this and then we'll talk to each other. Okay. All right. Let's do it. So just like in the previous class. Now, students, I'm going to put on my ears here. I recommend using headphones and a microphone if you can. Often will work better. I can't use my camera, but you can, everybody. So Deborah's already joining up. Here's that Zoom link again. Let me just remove the hyperlink. You can clearly see it. And I'll put it in one more time. All right, there it is. Okay, Manjab, Priya, nice to see all of you. Just going to mute everybody for now. And we've got more participants. In order to volunteer, you can raise your hand. So reactions. Azim, good to see you. Long time no see. What happened to your background, Azim? It's a white wall. You painted. I'm kidding. We'll find out soon enough. Cameras are great, everybody. Cameras are great. There's Deborah. Hi, Deborah. Deborah, you have a green screen behind you. Look at that. You have a green wall. You could put anything on there. Good to see you. All right. Great. Let me just see. There's a few more people to let in. So I'm going to let everybody in. Okay, let me just mute everybody again so we have order. And one more time, students, you can see Deborah has her hand up, so that's how you volunteer. I do remember my words from last class, and I said that I will give a chance to Priya for being very patient. So Priya, we'll start with you in this class, and we've got lots of time, students, so hang in there. Priya, how are you?
I'm good and a bit nervous.
That's okay. All right. So
I'm having my exam tomorrow.
Oh, you've got it. So it's very good that I'm giving you a chance here. You can, you know, students, when you have an exam like that, like the next day, and you're trying to volunteer, really try to let me know that. So in the chat or somewhere, just say like, I have an exam tomorrow. I would really love at least one question. Okay. And then I will keep an eye out for that. You'll do fine. Priya, your English is fantastic. You'll do great. No need to worry. You've been learning English for years and years and years and years. One day will not make a difference. So just be
Sure.
answer, explain, example, right? Just answer, explain, example. Use the
Example.
question. Okay.
Sure. Yes.
All right. Reflecting on part 2, you did not have a chance to answer for part 2. So what country would you have spoken about for a country for work?
I would have spoken about Australia because it has better work opportunity and a beautiful landscape. We can get to enjoy
I can.
beautiful
Remember.
sunset.
Remember, Priya,
Yes.
for part 2, it's I can, right? Don't involve the examiner. It's I can enjoy a beautiful sunset, warm weather for part
Okay,
2.
yeah.
Okay.
Now I mean to say that me and my husband. So like.
Oh,
the
okay.
two,
Then
yeah.
yeah, and even in those situations, it's often
Okay.
good to be more specific. So it's often good to say, my husband and I can really enjoy the sunsets together. So emphasize
Okay.
that, because then I can visualize you sitting with your husband, arm in arm, looking at the sun going down. What a romantic moment. So it's always good to be specific with your nouns, everybody.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, so
Sure.
keep that in mind. I will ask you a couple of part 3 questions. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so that is the end of part 2. Let's continue with part 3. For this part, I will ask you questions related to the topic of part 2. Let's talk about moving to different countries. Why do people migrate to live in different countries?
Well, some people migrate to another countries to reunite with their loved ones, and some, like me, for better work opportunity to improve the quality of life. As I mentioned earlier, the reason I am plan to move to Australia is to get a good scholar for my doctorate degree and pursue my dream career as a physiotherapist in Australia.
Why do some people choose seasonal migration?
Well, seasonal migration, some people choose seasonal migration to enjoy the best climate of the of other countries, and sometimes some people get to see the beautiful landscape when the climate is perfect. For an example, if to visit Jammu Kashmir in India, people usually visit in the month of November to December because there is a great snowfall and a beautiful landscape of mountains filled with snows.
Okay, I'm going to stop there, Priya, just so I can give you some very quick and precise feedback.
Okay.
Your English, first of all, your English is great. Just be you, okay?
Okay.
Keep your thoughts, and this is important for everybody, okay? Keep your thoughts open and think of common stereotypes, okay? So keep thoughts open and think
Okay.
common knowledge.
Okay.
So common knowledge doesn't mean templates, and it doesn't mean very general ideas. It just means common knowledge. So what people will often say, and then say it in your own words. Okay.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what I mean. So your first answer I thought was great. Okay, that was more of a band 9. Your second answer was closer to a band 6.5. If I take the average, I would say that was a band 7, 7.5 for that speaking. You want all of your answers to be as close to 9 as possible, because that's how you get to a 9, right? So if an answer is 9, great. That will help you to get a very good score. If your answers drop, then that will obviously pull your score, right? So so your first one was really good. There's not much to say there. You said, well, people migrate to countries, and for instance, everybody, this part that Priya said, like me, for work, that was really good. So that self-reflection Well, some people migrate to other countries for school, and others, like me, for work, right? So that was a really good little self-reflection there. That "like me" was very nicely put in there. Okay, so that was great. Your second answer was a bit more challenging to follow. So you said some people choose to enjoy the best climate of other countries. So far, so good. And then you said some people get to see the beautiful landscapes in certain seasons. Okay, that's fine. And then you started to kind of go down this rabbit hole and give your local context, and it was a bit confusing. And I'm like, where am I going? What am I doing? So don't be too specific and too complicated in your thoughts, because that can become confusing for your listener. Keep it really simple. So empathetic speaking. Empathetic meaning thinking about your listener. Now, when most people think of India, right, Priya? So most people, when they're thinking about India, what kind of climate do they imagine?
They can imagine mostly summer.
Right, and mostly hot, right?
Hot.
Even though it's not completely true. Like, I know India is a big country, and I know it has quite a range of weather, and not all places are hot all the time. But generally, like, if you travel the world and you're like, oh, how's the weather in India? Most people are like, oh, it must be super hot and everybody's sweating, because that's what we see on TV. That's the typical portrayal of India, is these super hot, like almost desert-like climates, right? That's the global kind of perspective, and it's, you know, so even though, like I say, it's not always true, that's what a lot of people think. So you have to kind of keep it simple, and in this case, if I were you, I would have said, like, during the hot summers in India, a lot of people who can afford it will go to cooler places in Asia or in Europe even, right? And so that's your simple approach to a clear response. So can you try this answer one more time and stick to this kind of global, simple perspective, right? So one more time, why do people choose seasonal migration?
People choose seasonal migration to enjoy best climate. For example, people in my country, India, to get due to summer season, if they are affordable, they try to move to country like Europe and Canada to enjoy the winter.
The cooler weather, maybe not the winter, but the cooler weather.
Cooler weather, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are actually, so I know that a lot of people from India will come to Victoria and Vancouver and British Columbia during the summer months, because it's just a lot cooler and more comfortable. So absolutely, it's true. So stick to that kind of general thought, okay?
Sure.
All right. Priya, good luck on your exam tomorrow. I'll have my finger crossed for you. I'm sure everybody else will. You've been practicing a lot, and you deserve to get a good score, okay? Just be yourself.
Yes, sure. Thank you, Andrian.
Okay. And tell us how it goes, okay? So let us know after.
Sure.
All right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Priya.
Thank you.
All right. Let's give Priya a thumbs up and a good luck charm. For sure. Okay. All right. Jen says thumbs up. Okay. Great. Well done. Let's give somebody else a chance here. Let's give Ayodeji. Let me just make sure that we've let everybody into the chat here. Give me a second, everyone. So I'm going to let some more people in the chat who are waiting. 1 second. Here we go. Ayodeji, I know you were there last class. You didn't have a chance, and I said I would give you a chance this class. So chime in, Ayodeji.
Hello.
How are you, Ayodeji?
I'm good. Good morning. Adrian.
Good afternoon by 10 minutes for you, sir.
I didn't watch my time, okay?
Ayodeji, is that you in the picture?
Yeah.
Okay, good to see you. It almost looks like you're sharing your camera. It's your portrait. It looks like you're looking at me. Azim agrees. He's like, yeah, I thought he was live. That's what first time I thought he was live. Fuang, not so much. We have an idea that's probably not her, that cat with the green towel. Deborah, definitely live. She's moving around. Hi, Deborah. All right. Those pretty big eyelashes of yours, Deborah. All right. Ayodeji, are you ready for some part 3 questions?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's do it. Okay, let's talk about moving to other countries. What are some important points to consider before moving to a different country?
Okay. I will start by saying that a lot of planning is required actually before moving to another country. In my own case, moving from Nigeria to Canada, I've been a certified finance professional in the UK with ACCA. So I discovered that moving to Canada, because ACCA is not that well recognized in Canada, but it's recognized all over the world because of the CPA between North America, Canada, and the US. So I applied to CPA Ontario for my certification, and I got designated in like a week of my landing in Canada. I've been on it for over a year. So it's given me a lot of opportunities now because I'm a CPA in Canada, and getting job is that easy.
How about shortly after arriving to that country?
Yeah. After arriving, there were a lot of challenges. Canadian experience, it's a lot of challenges. Despite the experience, the robust experience I have back home of more than 12 years finance experience. But at the end of the day, short while, I was able to secure multiple jobs, and I began to choose jobs, the one I want, the ones I don't want. And here I am today, doing fantastic.
Okay, I'm going to stop there and give you feedback. Ayodeji, I would give you a 7.5 for that, so somewhere between good and very good, because clearly you speak English well. But I'd like to give you a 9, but I can't. Do you know why that is?
Let me know.
Let me know. Does anybody know why that is? You can tell me in the chat if you can guess why, as the examiner, I'm basically not able to. It's not because I don't want to. I want to. I think Ayodeji has great English. But according to my training as the examiner, I'm not allowed to give you a 9. Why is that? There's a reason. Yeah, Single and Savvy has the answer for us in the chat there. Single and Savvy realized the reason very quickly, as will your examiner. You went off topic, Ayodeji. You got so excited about talking about your CPA and certification and financial schooling and your job opportunities that you forgot what the question was. And if you go off question, the examiner, it will become an awkward conversation because the examiner has to stay with the same questions, and part 3 will have a follow-up question. Like the first question here, Ayodeji, is what are some important points to consider before moving to a different country? And then the second question the examiner has on the paper is how about shortly after arriving to that country? You got so involved in talking about your CPA qualifications and what you had to do that you forgot that I'm actually asking you what you need to consider before moving to a country. And you said, at first you started correctly. You said you have to consider a lot of different ideas and a lot of planning. But then you focus so much on one aspect of what happened to you that you kind of lost the question. Do you get what I'm saying, Ayodeji?
Yeah.
So here you should be saying something like you started really well, and I liked how you started. You said, okay, I will start by saying a lot of planning is required before moving to a country. And then like what? So you said, in my case, moving from Nigeria to Canada, even though my finance CPA is accepted in the UK, I discovered it's not accepted in the US or Canada. And then you have to explain why you're telling me that. So a person has to research the qualifications and certificates that are accepted in the country they're going to, right? That's what you discovered. Okay, and that's a very good point. So, but instead of that, you kind of started talking a lot about the CPA. So what's another kind of planning or research that a person should do before they move to that country? What should they look into?
Yeah, part of another planning is the cost of accommodation.
Okay, so cost of living is another important point to consider. Yeah, and then here, and we can give people some life advice here too, Ayodeji. What's the difference? So you remember how Alexander says, oh, well, Canada seems to be like just one big country, right? But I'm sure, Ayodeji, you realize it's not completely true. It's each province and each locations are very different, right? So
yeah, sure.
Cost of living, for example, Newfoundland compared to British Columbia. Have you discovered the difference?
It's not relatively the same. I think it's more expensive to live in British Columbia than in Newfoundland.
Yeah, so cost of living is an important point to consider. I discovered a family home in Newfoundland is around $150,000, and the same home in British Columbia
is worth about $1 million. So
exactly. See, can be around $1 million. Yes, it's very true. $1 million is the minimum average price of a house in Canada.
$1 million minimum. Yeah.
Dollars. So it's another point to consider. Another one is, I know a lot of people plan to come to Canada. There's another point to consider for sure when you're planning to move to Canada. What is that, Ayodeji? So the finance that's required, the certifications, and there's another one that surprises a lot of people when they come to Canada.
Okay. I would say career prospects.
Career prospects. The one I was thinking about, Ayodeji, is weather. The weather.
Weather. Okay.
One place in Canada, the weather is very different than another place in Canada.
It's very different.
Yeah.
It's very different.
Yeah. So sometimes people move.
Different.
It is. And sometimes people move to a city and they go, oh my goodness, I did not realize that it's minus 30 here in the winter. And so they move and now it's plus 10 in the winter, like in Victoria.
In fact, when I came, it was, I would say it's about minus 20. I've never experienced that. Right from the international airport, it was so cold, and I was told in Canada they've experienced that kind of horrible weather for a very long time. That was in 2022, early 2022. Even since from now till now, we've never experienced that kind of horrible weather. It's been warmer compared to those periods. But I know temperature, climate, there's a climate change, all those kind of things affect nature and the temperature.
Yeah, and it's good to know that before you move to another country, what you can expect, right? So where I live in Victoria, it never goes to minus 20. It doesn't exist. The coldest we ever have is minus 3, 4 in the winter. That's the absolute coldest, and that's very rare. So the weather, and you can even just throw that in, the weather is another factor. The key point here, everybody, is that you have to stay on the question.
Stay on the question.
Yeah. So I'm going to say this one more time, and then you can answer the question again. You don't have to use the same words, but stay on the question. So let me say it first. What are some important points to consider before moving to a different country? Okay, I will start by saying a lot of planning is required before moving abroad. In my case, moving from Nigeria and Canada, I didn't realize I should consider qualifications. Although my CPA is accepted in the UK, it is not accepted in Ontario. So researching qualifications is one. Cost of living is another important point. I realized that some parts of Canada are much more expensive. Newfoundland, family home is $150,000. British Columbia is $1 million for the same house, and the weather can be quite different. Okay, so something like, and then stop because the examiner will interrupt you if you keep going. But that's about it. That's about how much you can fluently put into that answer, where you get that band 9. Okay, Ayodeji, here we go. What are some important points to consider before moving to a different country?
First of all, I would say a lot of planning is required to make that move. One of it is my professional certification is acceptable in the UK, not acceptable in Canada, so I have to plan ahead for that by making an application to a CPA body in Ontario, just to make me recognized in the country. Second one is the cost of living in Canada needs to be considered. A house in Newfoundland or in Alberta is relatively lower, which is about $250,000, compared to the same housing unit in a townhouse of same description in British Columbia goes for about $1 million. Another point to consider is the cost of the weather, because coming from Africa, we never experienced anything like winter or summer. We have just a hot, a very scorching temperature. So in Canada, there's a lot of cold, that goes from, there are some provinces in Canada, they experience up to minus 50 degrees Celsius.
Perfect.
So one needs
and then
to
stop
get
there.
prepared
Stop
for
there.
this.
Yeah, I told you they won't let you keep talking that long, but I waited. You're on the right track, though. That's the idea. So really focus on that concise language. That's much, much better. Now, if you give me that answer, even if I'm interrupting you because I see that you're on topic, you're just speaking too long, then even if I'm interrupting you, I'm still giving you a band 8 or a band 8.5. Okay? Because it's a very good answer. So just stay on topic. Okay? Stay on topic and really focus on being concise. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Ayodeji, that was really good. Thank you so much. And again, everybody, part 3, even if you have great English like Ayodeji, you have to stay on topic to get good scores. Okay? Very important. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Let's take somebody else. Deborah, you've been so patient and you're focused and you're in your room. You're not running somewhere right now. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Sadie. How about you too?
I am doing fantastic. I've got lots of plans for the day. Veer, I notice you've joined in with your camera as well. It's good to see you. Nice to see you as well.
Yeah, I just came for the wedding
Hi,
ceremony.
how are you?
Okay, let's let just Deborah speak, everybody. Let's let Deborah speak.
I'm
All
not there, right?
Okay, go ahead, Deborah.
I said I just returned from my friend's wedding ceremony.
Oh, okay. I see.
That is why I have the eyelash on.
Ah, hence the makeup, the eyelash. I see. Well, was it a good wedding?
Oh yeah, I really enjoyed it.
I can tell you're glowing. You're glowing. That's great. All right. Are you ready for a few questions, Deborah?
I am ready, Sadie.
Okay. Everybody else, please mute yourselves. Just let Deborah speak. Dhruvil, please mute yourself. Thank you. Okay, Deborah, here we go. Let's talk about moving to another country. Here we go. What are the factors that pave the way for younger generations to migrate to their desired countries, such as Canada or the USA?
Age.
Well, in my best of knowledge, I think some of the factors that contribute that pave way for people to relocate to Canada, America, or any European country is one, job opportunity, and then educational factor. Because Ghanaians, for instance, most of the youths are relocating to either America, Australia, or UK because there are a lot of job opportunity over there as compared to Ghana. There are a lot of Ghanaians who are unemployed after graduating for about 2 to 3 years. Just last week, a cousin of mine relocated to Canada because he has gotten an opportunity to work over there with a higher pay job than when he was working in Ghana.
Very good. I'm going to stop there and give you feedback right away. Your English is so your thoughts are very good, Deborah. You have really good content now. Like, you've really understood like what is needed what you really figured out what the examiner wants to hear, and that's awesome. So now you want to use your English. Ayodeji, just me. I think you're unmuted, so mute yourself. Okay. All right. So Deborah, you figured out what the exam wants. Okay, you gave me a very good answer. Your comprehension is brilliant. That was a tricky question to understand. And part 3, they will do that. They will ask you more and more complicated questions. And why do youngsters, or what paves the way? What does that mean, Deborah, to pave the way, to do? Clearly you understood that. Can you explain that expression to everybody?
To give an opportunity, a chance.
Yeah. Exactly. Pave the way means basically to build a road, right? So give the chance or give the opportunity to reach a goal. Exactly. Very smart, Deborah. Okay. So now, Deborah, the goal is always to work on your professional communication. So choosing the best words, the best phrases. Okay. Just repeat after me. Well, to the best of my knowledge.
Well, to my best of my knowledge.
Well, to the best of my knowledge.
Well, to the best of my knowledge.
Some factors that pave the way for youngsters.
Some factors that pave way for youngsters.
Is job opportunity and education.
Is job opportunity and education.
And remember your quantification, Deborah, okay? So numbers are your friends. Because most 18 to 20-year-olds move to earn more money and get better degrees.
Because most 18 to 20 move to earn money and to get better degrees.
Because most 18 to 20-year-olds.
Because most 18 to 20 years old move to
earn more money and get better degrees.
Move to earn more money and get better degrees.
There are more opportunities in the US or UK than in Ghana.
There are more opportunities in US and UK than in Ghana.
Just last week, my cousin moved to the UK to be a nurse.
Just last week, my cousin moved to the UK to be a nurse.
There, she can make £30 an hour. In Ghana, the same job, she gets only £2 an hour.
There, she can earn £30 per hour, but in Ghana, the same job, she only earned £2 per hour.
Okay, that quantification really strengthens that message that you're giving. So your content, like I said, is super good. Your structure is super good. Add in those numbers, adjust the language a little bit, and you'll be an expert speaker in no time. Okay, so you'll be at that band 8, band 9 level in no time. As is, that was about a band 7, 7.5 for sure, with those slight mistakes, but the structure is great. So it's all about word choice, grammar at this point. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much, and keep enjoying, keep partying, have fun. I'm amazed, Deborah, that you went from a wedding to an IELTS class. That's pretty impressive, I have to say.
Please, I sent you a mail requesting for some reading, but I'm yet to receive an answer.
I know, I saw that those passages aren't completely ready yet for publication, so I did answer for you. I use them in the live classes, but they still need some editing and some fixing before they're ready for the public. That's why I haven't shared it, but I'll think about maybe a way that I can do that in the near future with you. Okay, Deborah?
I'm hoping you'll be able to send it to me so that I can prepare before the exam day.
When is your exam?
It is speaking is on the 20th, and then the other 3 is on 24th.
Okay, so you have about 3 weeks roughly. Okay, I will try to get those to you. Can you send me one more email just to remind me? Okay, because I've already archived those emails. So send me one more email, and then I will do my best to help you with that. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'm very amazed at how hard you work, Deborah. So keep that up. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you too. Have a nice day.
You too. Bye, Deborah. All right,
Bye.
let's give Deborah a thumbs up. That was fantastic and very good communication, right? So that's what we're looking for here. Veer, I did not give you a chance last time. You've been sharing your camera, looking all handsome. What's going on, good man?
All going good, sir. What about you?
I am doing fantastic also. Thank you for asking and for sharing yourself with the world. Veer, why are you taking IELTS?
Because I really want to move Canada, sir, for further studies and all.
Okay, Canada, further studies. Well, I suppose you'll be using some of that information to answer some of these questions, right? Today's topic is kind of along those lines, Veer. So let's jump right into it. Are you ready for some questions?
For sure, sure.
All right, let's talk about moving to other countries. Where can people find out about opportunities for migration?
From my country, if I'm talking about from my country, most of the people move to Canada for the studies and all to earn, or you just say ki make career option in it.
And where can people find out about opportunities for migration?
And through agent and all, sir, most of the people from India really, you just say ki move earlier from here to Canada, so they suggest their families and you just say ki student and all ki come over here and earn, or you just say ki get good opportunity about studies and all.
How can people in their middle adulthood travel to these countries without having strong financial background?
It's really hard to many of the people to move to Canada because of the financial problem and all. But if the people really crack the IELTS exam or earn 6.5 band and all, so they manage finance from selling their field and all, or taking loans from the banks and all.
Why might it be challenging for elderly people to migrate abroad?
Because of the when the people are in the age one or the senior citizen one, they really think about the weather and all, because the Canadian weather, Canada weather is really you just say cold compared to India. So they preferably stay in India and not really want to move to Canada.
All right, I'm going to stop there and give you a bit of feedback. First of all, Veer, that was really good. All right, I can tell. Firstly, your comprehension is awesome. So some of those questions were a little bit tricky. Like even for me, if the examiner asked me, I'd be like, middle adulthood, okay. But you were very quick. Like your comprehension, you quickly understood the question, you clearly understood the question, and then you started speaking. So very, very nice. Your band score is about a band 6.5 to 7, closer to 6.5, so between fluent and good. The reason why is because I feel that you're rushing, so you're missing some clear explanations, and you're using some diction that makes comprehension challenging. So it's a common expression. I've heard it used in Indian English a fair bit, but it does get a bit confusing when it's used a lot. You say and all a lot. So you say and all, and all, and all. And I'm like, in my head, I start thinking, and all what? And all what? And all what? Right? So what I recommend, we have to control. Diction is a part of us. It's who we are, and it's okay. I have my own diction as well, as does everybody else. But we do have to control our diction. So natural fillers are okay. Saying and it's okay. There's no problem with that. You just have to control it. It cannot be out of control. You can't say and every 2 words. You can't say and all 3-4 times for each answer. Okay? It has to be controlled. It has to be controlled. So work on reducing that. Slow down a bit. You're very fluent. I would say you feel almost fast. Even if I met you on the street here in Canada and you started talking to me, I'd be like, whoa, slow down. You're talking too fast to me, right? So you're speaking too. I mean, maybe you're a little bit nervous, right, Veer? It's your first time, or you're kind of, and you're feeling a little bit nervous, but still, slow down, okay?
All right, sir.
You have good ideas. Explain them more. Like, about the elderly people, why might it be challenging? You said it's really hard for many. Use the question. So for elderly individuals, what do you consider, Veer, an elderly individual? So how old?
Near about 40 plus.
Whoa, Veer, you hurt me. 40 plus. I'm 40 plus. I'm not old. Ouch.
Oh, really? But in India, no?
Ouch.
40 plus is about the elder one.
At least say 60. At least.
Oh, 61. But the average life in India is about 70 or 75. So 45 is the middle age one. 40 and 40.
All right. Well, just to make me happy, Veer, let's say like 60 plus. Okay.
Sure. Next time I really remember.
All right. I'm kidding with you, but really, yes, 60 plus. Okay. So for elderly individuals, 60 plus, right? Let's define it. And you know what? Veer, if you think it's 40, fine, fair enough. Just define it for me. Use numbers, right? So for elderly individuals, 60 plus, it's really hard for many people to move to other countries. So you used Canada as an example, but you have to kind of show that that's just an example. You have to speak a little bit more clearly in part 3 for the question. So to move to other countries, it's hard for them to, what's the word here, Veer? So when we change ourselves for the weather or for the culture, then what are we doing? The word starts with an A, and maybe some of your classmates can help you here. What's the word? It's hard for them to, Single and Savvy says acclimatize. That's very good. Single and Savvy, that's specific for weather, but there's a word that you can use there. It's not adopt, Single and Savvy, but you're close. What's the word, Veer? It's adapt, right? Adapt. That's the word you're looking for. So that's like, examiners, when they're asking these questions, they kind of have these words in their head when you're giving the answer. Like they already know what the answer should kind of sound like. Okay, they keep an open mind, but they do have a feel for what the answer should be like. It's really hard for many people to move to other countries. It's hard for them to adapt to local culture, language, and weather, right? Like in Canada, because of financial constraints, language barriers, and cold weather, people over or Indians over 60 prefer to stay in India, right? So nice and slow, explain your answers, don't rush. You've got a very smart brain, Veer, and it goes too fast for the average person. We want you to go slower and explain more, okay?
Sure.
All right, so this is what the answer sounds like. So for elderly individuals, 60 plus, it's hard for many to move to other countries because it's challenging to adapt to culture, language, and weather. Like in Canada, financial constraints, language barriers, cold weather. Indians over 60 just prefer to stay in India. Okay, one more time. Why might it be challenging for elderly people to migrate abroad?
Basically, sir, if I really want to start it in my, you just say thinking one, because I really hard to remember what you say.
Just, you don't have to say the same word. Yeah, exactly. So you don't have to say the same words. Just try to copy the same thought and the same thought pattern.
probably adult people be like 60+1 are not able to adapt new weather, and they really hard to understand the culture of the other countries, and uh,
Give the example.
be like example one,
Canada,
what
India.
we India
Language, weather. Canada, India, language, weather.
be like language barrier. If we're talking about Indians are really not too that much good in English. So if they really want to move to Canada, they learn to English. And if we are taking talking about weather and all, in India is the average one be summer and all, but in Canada it's really too cold rather
Okay.
than compared to India.
Perfect, perfect. And you only said "and all" twice that time. So try not to say it even once, but you only said it twice at the end. It's especially when you start to kind of lose what you're saying, right? That's exactly when you want to stop. And as soon as you feel like you're going to say "and all," just stop your mind and instead use a number. Like, and in Canada, -20, it's too cold for a 60-year-old person in India. They won't move, right? So immediately switch to that number instead of the diction, okay?
Sure.
All right. Veer, brilliant.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you. Thank you. That was great.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Bye for now.
Bye, sir. Have a nice day.
You too. That was Veer, everybody. Let's give Veer a thumbs up. That was really good. All right. How are we doing? Let's see. Lots and lots of people still in the chat. Juan, let me get you in here, and then we'll mute everybody again.
Thanks, sir.
All right. Okay. No speaking out of turn, everybody. Just give me a second, okay? If we do that, it gets crazy, and then nobody understands anybody. All right. Okay. Dhruvil, go ahead. Chime in.
Yes, sir. Sir, I have exam. I have speaking exam on 5 July. So can you help me?
Sorry, Dhruvil. The connection's a little bit weak. You said you have an IELTS exam coming up soon?
5 July.
5th of July.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, not 5. 5th of July. 5th of July.
5th July.
Okay.
5th of July.
Soon. Next week. That's next week, Friday, is that? I think, yes. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes,
All right.
yes.
Dhruvil, sure, let's do it. Let's cover a couple of questions. Here we go. All right. First step, Dhruvil, just relax, loosen those shoulders, roll them around. Take a deep breath. Take it easy. There you go. Now I can see you relaxing. All right, let's talk about moving to another country. What challenges might migrants face when they move to their non-native speaking countries?
I believe person can face a number of difficulties whenever they visit another country, especially they don't know language and they not familiar with other language. So first of all, they face first difficulty whenever they try to communicate with no person. Nevertheless, sometimes they like to go for eating or purchasing new things on supermarket or mall. That time they don't do argue I mean to say check politics or compare other politics. So those kind of merits demerits are often faced by numerous people in whenever they visit another country which have a different language.
What are the easiest and most effective ways that they can solve these issues?
I believe a number of ways to solve this issue, but if not only one nation government, but I believe every government will collaborate each other and they public one language for every nation to compulsory to speak and learn their grammar and vocabulary. So I think those kind of issues and other issues not be happen in the future, and we have a different kind of chance to move other country and learn something new.
Okay, that is the end of part 3. That concludes the speaking section of the exam. All right, Dhruvil, I would give you like a band 6 for that. Fluent. but I want to give you more. I think your English is better than a 6. I think it's probably at least a 7, but you need to show me 7. Okay, you're not showing me 7. The internet was a little bit jumpy, so I didn't hear all your connections perfectly. However, you had a lot of different ideas and a lot of different answers. You were focusing on some vocabulary like merits and demerits that were really out of context, that just didn't make much sense. And instead, it's almost like it's very similar advice to Veer. You have to just slow down a bit, structure your language, structure your ideas, and really just give a more coherent answer using your vocabulary that you have. Okay, don't worry about putting words like merit or demerit into your answer. They're not going to get you band scores. You have to speak to me coherently. Okay. All right. So you started well. Your start was good. You said I can face a person can face several difficulties, especially when they're not familiar with the language. That was good. You said they face communication barriers. Okay. Slow it down a bit. So if I'm not able to speak the language of the culture of a place, then I'm facing these communication barriers. So what are my day-to-day challenges in a very simple way? So what are my day-to-day challenges if I can't speak the local language? Getting a job, right?
Yes,
Going to school.
getting job or school, learning or meet new person.
Making an
Like
appointment.
sometimes they appointment or break rules that I need to.
Or making friends, right? Making friends can be very difficult. Okay, so just simple, slow it down, Dhruvil, slow it down, really slow it down. Okay, so just repeat after me. They face communication barriers, so getting a job, going to school, making an appointment, or friends can be very difficult.
They face communication barriers, getting job, going to school, making an appointment or making friends can be very difficult for them.
Okay, and then what does that lead to? That leads to a feeling of, this can lead to feelings of what? So how does a person feel when they can't get a job, or they can't make a new friend? How do they feel?
They feel monotonous, oppressed, nervous, and that time they feel alone, so they cannot thinking more about the future or stay related to their work because they are bored.
Well, and disappointment and loneliness, right? So just repeat after me. This can lead to feelings of loneliness and disappointment.
This can lead to the feeling of loneliness and disappointment.
Okay, so simple thoughts. Slow it down, Dhruvil. Simple thoughts, okay? What are the easiest and most effective ways they can solve this issue? Keep it simple again. So the easiest way for me to solve the issue of not being able to speak with people who are there is to try to learn the language, right? For one, right? So do my best to learn the language. Now, another one, aside from learning the language, and this is where we have to visualize everybody. Thankfully, we live in a very technologically advanced society. So Dhruvil, when you're traveling, you can't speak the local language. What do? You use technology.
Some gadgets.
Yeah, exactly. So there are a few different ways, effective ways.
Sometimes we should buy a person or guider to communicate with others. I mean, to the converter person.
Yeah, exactly. Like using technology or government services to help translate language, right? So just repeat after me. There are a few effective ways to solve this issue, like using technology or government services to help translate language.
There are few there are a few effective ways to solve this issue, like using technologies or government services to help translate languages.
I have used Google Translate to make new friends when traveling to Spain. Try it.
Whenever I visit new nation, that time I have a Google Translate to make new friends when traveling to Spain.
Right, so visualize. And of course, everybody, this repetition and these ideas are not just for Dhruvil, but it's for everybody, right? So simple thoughts, even though the speaking part 3 questions can seem challenging and really complicated, just keep your ideas simple and don't rush Dhruvil. So notice how when Veer slowed down after I talked to him, his answer just got so much better, right? In his own words. So practice that, Dhruvil. Practice slower answers. Don't worry about vocabulary. Your vocabulary is fine. Just focus really on what you are saying, okay? Clear, coherent answers. Sounds good?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It is good.
All right, and come back again before your exam, okay?
Yeah.
All right, bye, Dhruvil. Okay, that was Dhruvil. That was really good. All right. Okay, everybody, I'm going to wrap it up there for today. Thank you to all of my volunteers. I can see a lot of chatter in the chat. Chat is always great. You know, social isolation, disappointment, single and savvy, Tsegareta, loneliness, Ayodeji, frustration, absolutely. Amit says homesickness. And these negatives of language barriers, they can be overcome, okay? You have to start within yourselves, and you're all beautiful people, and you're all super smart people, and you are the wonders of existence and the universe. You really are. We're sentient beings. So we can overcome language barriers and challenges. It just, you have to look within. Everybody, ahelp.com for academic IELTS and GIELTShelp.com for general IELTS. Those are the websites that power these live classes. On Thursday and Friday and tomorrow, we will have a premium Zoom class. Those classes are smaller. They have about 20-25 students. Everybody usually gets a chance, or at least everybody that volunteers gets a chance to speak and interact. So if you want to join those premium Zoom sessions, you have to sign up for a premium account at ahelp.com, GIELTShelp.com. The websites look like this. This is the academic one. Click the big red button, and the general one looks like this. Click the big red button. Fuang, I know you were really trying to volunteer. I will keep an eye out for you in the next class. I hope you're feeling better. And I will be back tomorrow for premium students. And on YouTube, I will be back on Tuesday. I'm going to post the new schedules today. Stay positive. Remember, you are all amazing people, okay? And have a great rest of the weekend. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from Victoria, Western Canada. Much love to everybody. Bye for now.